The NFL on CBS. Today's playoff game is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer, who invite you to see and test drive the all-new LTD and Mustang. Light beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Kmart Automotive Centers, where quality auto products are Kmart priced.
From the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, CBS Sports presents the NFC Divisional Playoff game. The Minnesota Vikings versus the Los Angeles Rams. Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with George Allen and Jim Brown. George, who do you like and why?
Vinny, I like the Rams. They're playing at home. They have the best defense in football, and they have a sound running game.
They talk about a jinx, Minnesota beating the Rams. You believe in jinxes?
Yes, I do, Vinny, but not enough to believe that Minnesota could win today. I think the Rams, on pure talent, they had a great practice this week.
Whether it is gamesmanship or otherwise, you will notice that the Rams are in white uniforms. In the middle of the week, Carol Rosenblum, the owner, opted for the blue. However, when they notified Minnesota in Tucson, Minnesota said, we only have the purple uniforms with us. The Rams said, okay, we'll wear the white. George, do you think it was gamesmanship? But first, our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join singing star of radio, television, and movies, Arthur T. Todd, in the singing of our national anthem.
Twilight last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in.
That flag, you see, is 46 by 76. It took 50 men to hold it. It is the largest handheld flag in the world. And, of course, Anchors Away preceded our national anthem. George Allen, we talked about the jerseys. Do you think there could be any gamesmanship in that?
There could be, Vinny. I doubt it. If you have a good football team, you can play no matter what the jersey is. The Rams normally would be in blue, and the Vikings would be in white.
Fellas, one question that you rarely hear discussed before a game is the toss of the coin. George, did you have any instructions? Did you like the call, or did you like to have the other team call?
Vinny, when we lost about 4 times in a row, I once told Lenny Hoss, see if you can't use good judgment and make the correct call.
Jim, what about you? Ever involved in the toss of the coin?
Yes, Vinny, I'm superstitious, as I said earlier, so I always call heads. I thought heads was positive. I went for positive.
I think if I were a head coach, I'd get a mathematician to get the law of probabilities on heads and tails and then do a little study on receiving. Right now, Jim Marshall, 41 years old yesterday, number 70, and Mike Tingelhoff, the veteran center, 240 starts for Mick, and he's out there, number 53. The Ram captains, and there are a lot of them. Tom Mack, Willie Miller, Ron Jesse, Dennis McClain, and Jack Youngblood. Coach, they're shaking hands.
Yes, that's a good sign. I like the players to shake hands. Once in a while, if they wouldn't shake hands.
Minnesota, you're the visitor. Which one to call the toss? Call it in the air. You call heads. It is heads. Your choice.
We will receive.
You will receive what you're in with your kickbook. Minnesota won the toss. Will receive. Gentlemen, let's play football.
So Jim Marshall pulled heads, won the toss, and the Vikings will receive.
Vinny, I started to say once in a while when the opposition wouldn't shake hands, we'd always let our players know that.
Anything, George.
Ray Malavasi, in his first year as head coach, 48 years old, out of Passaic, New Jersey, trying to break the so-called Viking jinx. And here it is. 69, the Vikes beat the Rams in a championship. 74, again in 76, last year in the rain. The Rams were also frustrated one more time. In 1975, Dallas knocked them all over Los Angeles in a championship game.
You know, these first few plays, this opening kickoff, are so important. The Vikings have been starting slowly, bad field position, making mistakes. They have to start fast to stay in this ball game and not get behind like they had the last couple of weeks.
Going deep for the Vikings is Robert Miller along with Brent McClanahan. We'll see Kevin Miller, number 87 usually, but not right now. And Washington, number 80, is wide right. Teeing up the ball is the top scorer in the NFL, Frank Corral. And boy, what a year he has had for the Rams. Corral has won 3 games. He beat the Eagles with 7 seconds to play, the Tampa Bucks with 3 seconds to play, the 49ers with 2 seconds to play. And here we go. It'll be Miller from the 3, to the 15, to the 20, and down he goes at the 20-yard line, where the Vikings will put it in play. Carl Eckern making the hit, discarded. Now let's take a look up front for Minnesota. Myers, Goodrum, Tingelhoff, Hamilton, and Yeri. The wide receivers, first we'll look at the backfield. Fran Tarkenton with Ricky Young and Chuck Foreman. And the wide receivers, Ahmad Rashad, Sammy White, and the tight end, Bob Tucker. First and 10 Vikings on their own 20. Rashad and White going into a slot right. And Tarkenton putting it up, starting to roll right. Looking, throws a wobbler to Foreman, and he has it to the 34-yard line. And the Vikings come out throwing, and it's a first down. Let's check the Ram defense now. Youngblood, Jones, Brooks with a bad knee, and Dreyer up front. The linebackers, Jim Youngblood, along with Reynolds and Brzezinski. At the corners, you see Thomas and Perry. The strong safety is Dave Elmendorf, and the free safety, Bill Simpson. So the Vikings start out with a pass, and they have it first and 10 on the Vikings 34. Sammy White and Tucker, the tight end, go to the right. Rashad left. And again, Tarkenton looking and throws to Ricky Young, who is boxed in by Brzezinski and dropped by Jim Youngblood. And for Ricky Young, he caught 88 passes this year, number 1 in the NFL.
Well, Tarkenton's starting out with his strength. His first play was a sprint out. Now he's going to a drop back pass, looking downfield, nobody open, so he dumps it off to number 34, Ricky Young.
We talked about that earlier, George. He said he should probably come out and throw and not really try to establish the running game.
He's starting out very positive.
Second and 7, the ball on the Vikings 37. They started on their own 20. White and Rashad go right, and there's Foreman busting up the middle and dropped just about the 40-yard line. Jack Reynolds, the middle linebacker, along with Dave Elmendorf, the strong safety, coming up to the hit.
Foreman, Jim, needs a big game today. He needs to pick up around 100 yards for them to be a force in this game.
Yeah, he has to take some of the pressure off of Tarkenton. I mean, Tarkenton cannot carry the total team.
Rams are going into their nickel defense now.
Third and 4 for the Minnesota Vikings. The ball on the Viking 40. They've traveled 20 yards so far. White and Tucker go right. Rashad goes left. Ricky Young on a wing. Tarkenton lob lobbing it, and he's got his man Foreman. Foreman going to be dragged down at the 45, but he got away and moves across the 40-yard line. Fellas, Tarkenton is trying to chew him up.
I like Tarkenton's approach. He's coming right out. He's leading with his strength. He knows he doesn't have a good running game, but he's coming out and throwing that football. He's doing the things that they do well.
Something else he's doing, he's getting Foreman in the offense early. A lot of times he did not get Foreman in the offense early, and with Ricky Young coming from a new team, that could have a negative effect on a great back.
So the Vikings on a drive, 1st and 10 on the Ram 40-yard line. They've moved 30 yards in the early drive. Sammy White and Ahmad Rashad go right, Chuck Foreman over the right side, trips and falls at the 37-yard line. Jack Youngblood. And at the bottom, Larry Brooks, sore knee and all. But Brooks said before the game he just had to play.
Well, so far, Vinny, the Vikings are starting fast. We've said they had to start fast. The games that we have done, we've done 4 this year, they've been slow starters.
Well, they were trying to establish the running game first, and the theory is that you develop superiority, physical superiority at the line of scrimmage with your running game.
Robert Miller is now in there with Ricky Young as Foreman takes a breather. And it's intended and caught by Ahmad Rashad, and that's a 1st down just inside the Ram 30-yard line. A battle up front. You'll see Ron Yeri going head-to-head. There is Jack Youngblood and Ron Yeri, who played here, of course, for USC, keeping Youngblood outside, allowing Tarkenton to have time, and he had plenty of it to release it to Rashad for a 1st down. So the Vikings are on the move. They have the ball on the Ram 28-yard line. Rashad and White go left. Tucker, the tight end, on the right side. Young is in motion to the right. Play action fake to Robert Miller, and pass intercepted by Bill Simpson to the 25 and knocked out of bounds at the 30. Bill Simpson took it away from the tight end, Bob Tucker, and a big defensive play by Simpson 5 years out of Michigan State.
Well, the Vikings use the motion on this. You don't see it. And Tarkenton tries to hit a seam pattern. The ball hangs a little bit, and Simpson comes over and picks it off.
Well, the key to it, Coach, is that the ball hung. He threw the ball badly. It was in the air much too long.
Tarkenton talking to tight end Bob Tucker. The Vikings committed 51 turnovers this year, second to the San Francisco 49ers, and 1 pops up in the early going. Cullen Bryant is hit at the line of scrimmage, and great leg action. He refused to quit. And let's take a look now at the Rams up front offensively with Doug Franz, Tom Mack, Rich Saul at center, Dennis Harrow with a bad neck, and John Williams. The wide receivers, Willie Miller, Ron Jesse, and the tight end is Terry Nelson. At quarterback, Pat Hayden. The running backs are Cullen Bryant and John Capoletti. 2nd and 5, and they study on the sidelines, the Ram defensive unit. This is Capoletti, and as he cut at the 35, he appeared to trip and go down. That gives us a chance to look at the Minnesota defense. Mark Blaney, Doug Sutherland, James White, and 41 years old Jim Marshall at right end. The linebackers, Matt Blair, Jeff Seaman, and Fred McNeil. At the corners, rookie John Turner replacing Nate Wright, who broke his arm against Oakland, and Bobby Bryant, Phil Wise, and Tom Hanna. 3rd and 2 for the Rams. The ball on the Ram 38-yard line. Hayden, then a release to Capoletti. Capoletti to the 40, still on his feet for a 1st down, and is knocked out of bounds with a flag on the play at midfield. So there's a flag on the play and hold everything. John Capoletti. The best game of his career was against the Vikings, but that was in 1976. And right now the officials with referee Red Cashin, penalty will be against the Rams. In talking about the officials, amongst them 93 years of experience.
You know, Jim, on those flare passes, playing a team like the Rams, I always wanted my linebackers to play those flares real tight, because if you don't, that's just what happens.
Well, Capoletti's a good flare pass runner.
That's young Tommy Kramer, who was injured in October against the Rams and has not played again.
Offensive pass interference, number 81.
against Ron Jesse to the Rams, who capitalized on an interception by Bill Simpson and a 17-yard return, are pushed backward to 3rd and 12. The ball is just shy of the Ram 28-yard line, so Hayden has to come up with a big play. Billy Waddy goes wide right. In motion is Jesse. Up and lets it fly to Jesse. No good. The reason that Hayden had trouble was Mark Mullaney, number 77. Mullaney is 6 feet 6 inches, and you'll see double sevens hold his hands up like trees. That's Sutherland. And there's Mullaney. Watch.
Now, the Vikings today are in a 34 defense, only rushing 3 men. Sometimes that gives the quarterback a little more time to throw. Hayden scrambled well and saw the open man, and he was open. The ball was just off an angle.
Kevin Miller will now go deep as the Vikings safety on the Minnesota 30. Glenn Walker punting from his own 17-yard line. Kevin Miller falls on it, and he just did beat Larry Marshall. Marshall, number 44, came flying down there, but Kevin Miller able to recover on the Viking 36, where they'll put it in play. So in the early going, the Vikes drive broken up by Bill Simpson. We have 9:29 in the first quarter, no score. Vin Scully along with George Allen and Jim Brown as the Vikings have it in play, 1st and 10 on their own 36. Tarkenton rolling and then drills it, and he's got Rashad wide open. And Rashad gets away at the 40 and is dragged down from behind at the 33-yard line after putting a big fake on Pat Thomas. Bill Simpson bringing him down.
Yeah, nobody does this better than Tarkenton. He's ready to throw on his first step. He's reading the defense. He's buying time to throw the football. He doesn't want to run. He's flooding the strong side. Big play to Rashad.
And you know something, Coach? When he rolls out, he nullifies so many things.
Rashad getting away from Jack Reynolds, pursued by Dave Elmendorf, but he moved it to the Ram 33. 1st and 10 for Tarkenton and the Vikes, no score. Francis to the right side, overthrowing the intended receiver, Ahmad Rashad. You know, we should point out as you look at the Vikings, it is hard to believe that there are 32 men gone from the 1977 Super Bowl team that represented Minnesota.
And when that happens, usually you make a lot of mistakes. You have such a turnover, Jim, that you can't incorporate all those new people in the organization.
Because I remember when I would come back every year to play, we would have the same guys who would get down our formation like we never left it.
Exactly.
Fellows like Steve Riley and Ed White are gone, and they have been missed. 2nd and 10 on the Ram 33. Tarkenton going to throw all day, and he's got Rashad, and Perry brought him down at the 25-yard line. That is not enough for a first down. He'll have to get inside the 23.
Well, they came in here with a safety blitz. I don't know whether you can see it, but they got the safety blitz. There it comes. Tarkenton read it and complete the pass to Rashad.
Great throw because he threw off his back foot that time, George.
3rd and 1 for the Vikings. By the way, Rashad comes into this game with 100 yards in 2 of his last 3 games. He's done that 9 times in his career. And in the last 3 years, he has caught more passes than any other wide receiver, 170 of them. 3rd and 1. Tarkenton under some pressure. Alley-oop kind of a pass, no good. Intended for Stu Voigt, the tight end on the left side. And there's John Capoletti taking a breather. He figures to be a workhorse along with Cullen Bryant all day long.
On that last play, Benny, they had 3 tight ends in.
The Vikings are going for a field goal. Rick Danmeyer is 36 out of 37 in points. He has kicked 12 out of 19. His longest field goal, 47 yards. Danmeyer, 1 year out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The spot will be at the 32. A 42-yard field goal attempt is up and good. And for the first time in a while, as far as we're concerned, we see the Vikings out in front.
They came out ahead. 2 nice drives.
7 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the first quarter. all 35 of Dan Meyer's kickoffs this year have been returned. He doesn't have the kind of a leg to kick it through the end zone. And deep is Jim Jodat. And Jodat will take it on his 6th. He's playing with a hip pointer, so he's hurting. He gets out to the 20, boxed in and dragged down by Matt Blair at the 25-yard line. Hey, friends, the new look on the CBS Sports Spectacular, and it is a dandy. Starting off with the East-West Shrine game, and how about this fight with Duran versus Brooks? Yes, the new look, Sports Spectacular. We'll also have the Hollywood Stunt Competition and the NFL Cheerleaders Classic, starting Saturday, January the 6th. Great show with a bright, shiny 1979 look. First and 10 Rams on their own 25. Capoletti and Jesse in the backfield, and he goes in motion. Capoletti's on a wing. Cullen Bryant has Matt Blair, and he's out to the 30 to the 35. A great block by Tom Mack on Matt Blair, and a good defensive play by John Turner, the rookie.
Well, Turner, number 27, is getting his first start. He's playing pretty deep on the play. You can't see it, but he comes up and makes a tackle. Bryant had a big hole there, Jim.
Oh, it was a tremendous hole. And actually, I heard this week that the Rams offensive line felt that they have not done their work well this year, so they really wanted to prove something today. That was an example of it, believe me.
So Hayden brings him out on the Ram 36, first and 10. Waddy is right. In motion goes Jesse. Willie Miller's over there as the wide receiver. Hayden sets up over the middle to Cullen Bryant, and he drags for a couple more with Jeff Seaman holding on. They bring him down at the Ram 42.
You know, Coach, I mentioned something earlier about a lead back, a star back. Evidently, they are going to use Bryant that way today. And if they give him that kind of confidence, then his running is always going to improve, because when you feel you're the man, you perform like the man.
Yes.
There's Chuck Foreman. He has already played a part in the early going. We'll see a lot of him today. Second and 5 from the Ram 42. Capoletti on a wing. And Jesse in motion. Hayden giving to Bryant, and he's stacked up by Blair, and down he goes. And a question, Coach. The Rams are using Jesse as a motion man out of the backfield. How good is motion to confuse a club like Minnesota?
Vinny, I like motion if you can lock a team into a defense, and many times you can do that with Minnesota. It gives you a certain coverage, a certain deployment of the linebackers, or a certain front. Very good.
And it helps the quarterback, because then he knows pretty much what he's going to be looking at. Is that right, Coach?
Yes, and 27, Turner's playing pretty deep. I would think they'd be thrown over here on his side.
All right, third and 3 for the Rams, and Hayden drops back, sets up, and goes deep down the middle, and it's going to be juggled and dropped at the last minute by Phil Wise. So it was intended for the tight end, Terry Nelson, number 83, and you'll see Wise had a shot at it.
Yeah, I think Wise lost it in the sun right here. No, he had it and dropped it. Didn't have possession of it.
So Glenn Walker, who ranks 22nd in the NFL, but less than half of his punts have been returned, and only 5 have been returned for 10 yards or more. So he has some deceptive numbers, and we'll look at his hang time. Kevin Miller is deep on the Vikings. And the kick is blocked, and it's blocked by Scott Studwell. Jackie Wallace is going to be dragged out of bounds by Hilgenberg, and Scott Studwell, 2 years out of Illinois, number 55, blocks Walker's punt.
That's the third punt the Rams have had blocked this year, Jim, and that's something that should only happen about once every 5 years.
So why is that? Why did they have 3 blocks, Coach?
Well, many times it's faulty blocking assignments. Sometimes it's the kicker taking too long, bad snap. It's many things. That's a big break for the Vikings here. They're on the 20-yard line.
Studwell was able to jump over the block by Carl Eckern, and look at Glenn Walker. He is livid to have that punt blocked. So it is first and 10 Vikings on the Ram 21, and the Vikes are leading 3-0. Tarkinen looking, going deep in the end zone, intended for Sammy Rowe. It is intercepted by Bill Simpson for the second time. Bill Simpson, 5 years out of Michigan State, coming up with another gutsy interception to give him 7 for the year.
You can see why, Vinny, at the top of the show, we're talking about the Rams defense that comes to the rescue once again.
That's how you win championships, with a great defense, and here's an example of it.
Another footnote, that is the 34th interception thrown by Tarkinen this year. Bud Grant looking on, the Vikings leading 3-0, but they've lost momentum on that second interception by Bill Simpson. Hayden is going to crank up and go deep down the left side. A battle there broken up by Bobby Bryant, intended for Willie Miller.
Bryant had him covered all the way, good inside position, and should have intercepted the ball. Say, Benny and Jim, that they're going to start throwing in front of 27 Turner.
You know, last year, Pat Hayden was ranked the number 3 quarterback in the NFL. Coming into this game, he is ranked 15th. So although he has not had his better year, the team has won 12 and lost only 4. You look at rookie John Turner, a rookie out of Miami, playing a corner over Nate Wright, who suffered the broken arm, and the Rams figure to pick on him today if they possibly can. Bryant stays in the block. Hayden now is going to be chased by McNeil, along with Blair, Marshall, and Turner, and he runs out of bounds at the Ram 35 and picks up the first down.
Well, we're going to see a shot of Turner, 27, playing the left corner, backpedaling, good position, good footwork. Gets turned around now. He sees Hayden scrambling, comes up, takes the wrong angle.
Coach, you mentioned good footwork, and I agree with you, but he did one thing wrong. He turned around totally. You don't teach that.
1st and 10 on the Ram 35. We have 5 minutes left in the first quarter. 3-0 Minnesota. And motion to the line is Willie Miller. Pitch back to Bryant with Capoletti and France out in front of him, but a lot of purple shirts there to bring him down. A moment ago, we showed you Bud Grant. We should interject while we have that moment that Grant needs to win today to become only the 3rd coach in league history to win 10 postseason games. The other 2, Tom Landry and Don Shula. 2nd and 6 for the Rams. They bring it out to the 39.
Go ahead, Ben. I'm going to bring up a point I'll bring up later.
Jesse is in the slot left with Willie Miller. And Capoletti works the ball out to the 45-yard line. What were you going to say, George?
I was going to say that Bud has done an outstanding job in Minnesota year after year after year. And his teams are always ready to play, and they have a lot of pride and tradition in it.
A piece of business to duck in. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or the use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Rams and the National Football League is prohibited. 3rd and 1 for the Rams. We'll see if Hayden falls on Bryant, who doesn't fumble, or Capoletti, and it is Capoletti who got the first down. They'll stack him up at about the 47-yard line, but John Capoletti is the guy who drives it in.
When you look at this play, there's not that much to see. The blocking is good. It's straight-ahead blocking. It's hard running by Capoletti. But talking about Capoletti and Bryant, these guys do not fumble the ball. They do not make mistakes, and that is really the true value of those 2 guys.
That's the type of backs I like, Jim. That's the back we always tried to have. Don't beat yourself.
I like the dangerous kind. They might go 80, but they might fumble on that.
That's because you're not a coach, Jim.
You're right.
1st and 10 on the Ram 48. Hayden now throwing over Mulaney, and Capoletti drops it and then angrily kicks at the ball and kicks it over the sideline. Capoletti, going into this game, had caught 41 passes, one of them for a touchdown, his longest 37 yards.
Capoletti's a good receiver, good practice player, Jim. Always ready to practice, hustles, doesn't make a
question. The Rams said they had their best 3 practices this week of the whole year. Is that really a tip-off on the game?
I think it is, Benny. So important to have good practice.
As we look at Ahmad Rashad, Jim, was practice that important as far as the game?
Yes, it was. It was everything as far as I'm concerned.
2nd and 10 on the Ram 48. Cullen Bryant across midfield, dragging people to about the 46-yard line, where the Vikings bring him down with 2:56 left to go in the first quarter.
Benny and Jim, one thing we haven't had a chance to mention too much, the Vikings are a 43 team. 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers. They've been using a lot of 34 in this ball game so far, and I'm sure the Rams didn't expect that much 34.
Well, you'll find that kind of thing in championship play because it's only one game. You don't hold anything back. You try to develop new wrinkles, especially if you're the underdog.
Minnesota has allowed 99 points over the last 3 games. That's the highest 3-game allowance since Bud Grant took over back in '67. Hayden rolling right. Now throwing on the run. No good. Just did get it over Wise's hands intended for Billy Waddy. And John Turner, the rookie, was there, but Wise was the man to really mess up the play. There's Ray Malavasi. Malavasi, among other things, a linebacker coach. And this is a rather ominous note. Since World War II, the Rams have had 17 coaches, 3 of them in 1978, one of whom is right here in the booth. Greg Walker.
So how you do?
Hey, Jim.
Let's 4th and 4.
Hang time here.
Studwell can't get at him this time, and Walker kicking at Kevin Miller with Jodat down there on top of him. Jodat will down the ball on about the Vikings. Well, we'll see where they spotted it. It's inside the 5. Jim Jodat, who is playing with a bad hip pointer, which is really, as they tell me, a tear of abdominal muscles, so you know he's hurting. And Jodat, number 43, he's a hard-nosed down there to down it. He's 2 years out of Carthage, which is out of Kenosha, Wisconsin.
He's always hustling. Always hustling.
You know, Coach, you're talking about field position now, and you talk about the 35-yard line. Now, this is what I like to talk about, field position, when you have a team backed up like this.
This is great field position with the #1 defense in the league. You should come out of this in pretty good shape.
You should come out with something.
The official spotted on the Vikings 4. 2 minutes and 9 seconds left in the first quarter. Minnesota leading 3-0. And boy, they load up the right side. Tucker, Rashad, and White are all over there. Flag in the air as Parkinen sends it to White, who gets a bump by Pat Thomas and is knocked out of bounds at the 8. But let's wait about the call on the flag. That brief glimpse of testimony to the weather here in Los Angeles. A beautiful day, as opposed to last year when the Vikings won here in a deluge. Red Cashin is motion, and motion is against the Vikings. You see Foster Brooks, who is sober as a judge. Normally, he is otherwise, at least as an actor.
Did a program with him, Vinny.
Oh, he's funny.
Quite a comedian.
Oh. So Francis is in more trouble now as he took over on his own 4-yard line. He'll spot it just inside the 2.
Illegal formation. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Well, the Vikings like to run and pass from various sets. And that's one of the shortcomings.
1st and 12 for the Vikings on their 2. Tucker is way wide right as they go slot left. White is in the slot. Tarkinen is going to run it, then throws on the run. He's got Rashad at the 10, and he tries to fight his way out, and he got very close to the first down stake, although it would appear as if he's just shy.
You see, Benny, on that last play, the Rams know that Tarkinen doesn't want to run at all. He's going to throw. He could have run the football there. He did the smart thing with his age and experience. He picked up 7-8 yards.
See where they spot the ball after he went out of bounds in a crowd.
Picked up 9 yards.
So it was a good scramble by Ahmad Rashad at the other end to Tarkinen. That's Jim White, number 72. You'll see a lot of him on defense from Minnesota as he hollers, "Let's go." The defense could use a breather. Ahmad Rashad wide left and Sammy wide right. The only running back is Chuck Foreman. And it is Foreman running into people. Still on his feet at the 15. And he might very well have picked up the first down. Mike Fanning the tackle.
They call number 64, Jack Reynolds. Let's take a look at him. He's a great middle linebacker, very strong, very dedicated guy. Clogs up the middle, but there's a good offensive charge by the Vikings line. So they actually moved the Rams out on this particular play. A lot of holding going on, too.
Good use of the hands.
Yes, sir.
3-10 on the Vikings 7. White and Rashad go left. Tucker is no longer a tight end. He's a wide receiver right. They pass to Tucker. He makes the reception at the 20, and Elmendorf tackles him as he goes out of bounds, just shy of the Vikings 21.
Coach, we're talking about field position. What you try to do when you get a team backed up like that is you don't want them to get that first down.
No.
Tarkinen has brought them all the way out to the 20.
Our rule on defense was don't give them a first down, make them punt. Then we know we'll have field position.
That's right.
There is the punter, by the way, Greg Coleman, who is averaging 39 yards a punt, although he does have a tendency to get off a line drive kick, and that can hurt. Bud Grant watching his Vikings come out 2nd and 6 on the Vikings 21. White and Rashad go left. And a draw to Foreman. And he gets it to the 24-yard line. He needed 6. He had to get to the 27. So Cody Jones brought him down.
So did you notice how Foreman was carrying that ball?
Yes.
Very dangerous.
Yeah. Yep. Looked like he could have lost it very easily. That was a sprint draw. It usually comes back to the backside, to the weak side, but Foreman took it over on the strong side.
There you look at number 79, Mike Fanning, 4 years out of Notre Dame. The backup man to Cody Jones. It is third and a long two. The ball spotted at the Viking 24-yard line. And Tarkenton, short yardage, is still going to pass, and it is broken up by Bob Brzezinski. Whoa! Pass intended for Ricky Young. And you know, Brzezinski has been accused of being great on the run and poor on the pass.
Well, that's Betty. I know he has. He's a good athlete. He has good hands. That's an inaccurate statement on him. Bob will get better as time goes on. Any experienced men will have that.
They
problem.
didn't mean that he wasn't any good against. They just meant that Isaiah Robinson was better. He was a veteran and he had the mobility and the knowledge.
Good point. Here's Greg Coleman, 2 years out of Florida A&M, cut by Cleveland, picked up by Minnesota. Jackie Wallace, leading in punt returns in the NFC, is at the other end of the kick, and he'll field it at his own 31-yard line. Wallace to the 35, to the 40, and is finally buried there. Craig, number 84, a tight end, came down to nail him. Steve Craig.
You know something, Vinny? Wallace has the strangest way of returning punts. He's been very successful, but he hesitates when he catches the ball and he waits. And it's a style that you very seldom see.
Well, how are you taught to field that?
Well, you know, some of the great punt returners like Speedy Duncan and Alvin Heyman and Eddie Metter and Eddie Brown, each guy has his own style. And he uses his blockers very well.
Usually they take off when it answers. Usually they take off fast.
First and 10 on the Ram 41-yard line. Hayden through the second man, and that's Cullen Bryant as he batters his way across the 45-yard line. Jeff Seaman, 7 years out of Stanford, number 50. And keep an eye on Jeff, the middle linebacker. He's been in 4 Pro Bowls, and here's a pretty good reason why. As he reacts off the heat, breaks to his left, and then finds a headlock on Bryant to bring him down. And the first quarter has come to an end. The Minnesota Vikings, thanks to a 42-yard field goal, are leading the Los Angeles Rams 3-0. We'll be right back. You'll be seeing the Ram cheerleaders along with others on the cheerleader competition on the New Look Sports Spectacular on January the 6th. Second and 5. The ball is on the Ram 46-yard line. Rod Phillips is now in there for John Capoletti. Cullen Bryant back of him. Willie Miller in motion to the line. Ron Jesse wide right. A pitch back to Bryant with Phillips blocking. And a ball goes down and they bury it at the 40-yard line.
Tremendous play by Bryant. That's the way I like to see a corner field. Beautiful, beautiful play.
Oh, he's filled, no doubt about it.
The holding call against the Los Angeles Rams. They told you that Jim Marshall celebrated his 41st birthday yesterday, number 70. Watch him now as he goes head-to-head with Doug France.
Watch 20 contained. Then he's come right up and you can't see it. Piles the blocker up and makes the play himself.
Holding, number 77.
So it's Doug France holding Jim Marshall. The penalty is declined, and you saw it right there. Nice going, Tony. Tony Verner, our director, had that nailed.
You know, Jim Marshall's been a great player over the years, and that was a great play right there because he strung that play out.
That's right. He didn't take a side.
That's right.
The tendency is to take one side or the other. Take the easy way.
And you lost.
3rd and 11 on the Ram 40-yard line. And Hayden having to pass, blocking by John Williams. And all alone is Jesse. He's brought down at the 32-yard line by Hannon. All alone was Ron Jesse, 8 years out of Kansas. Jim Marshall tried to put pressure on Hayden. You'll see him get in there, but it doesn't faze Pat as he found Jesse all alone. The greatest day Jesse ever had in his career was against Minnesota, but that was in '74 when he played for Detroit.
When you look at Pat Hayden, you saw the picture of Pat staying in there with Jim Marshall all around his legs. That's a very good indication of the heart of a quarterback.
1st and 10 on the Vikings 31, out of the eyes. Capoletti back in there, got away from Seaman, and it finally hauled down by Mullaney and Hannon as he crossed the 30-yard line.
Now, going back to that previous play, one of the things the Vikings have to do is come up with a mount a better pass rush. In the games we've done, they've given the quarterback too much time to throw the football.
Well, you know something, Coach? Actually, this is the best they've looked since we've been covering them. I mean, they're doing a better job of this than they really have.
Yes, they are. 2nd and 7 on the Vikings 28-yard line. Willie Miller wide left, Billy Waddy wide right. And they really split the backs, Capoletti and Bryant. And Hayden hands to Bryant. To the 15, to the 10-yard line. Colin Bryant, who hasn't fumbled this year, hammered away.
Well, you can see why.
He is 6'1", 235.
Fast trap. 50 took himself out. Seaman took himself out to some extent. Big hole. Direct hitting play. That's the type of football.
But, Coach, watch his hands. He's always covering the ball. Now, you like that. I don't like that in the open field because I'd like him then to become a broken field runner.
I like him to take his hand off the ball when he's in the open field.
Tom Mack laying in a pretty good block on Doug Sutherland, and that opened up the door for Colin Bryant. 1st and 10, not quite 1st and goal, however. And the Rams now are definitely on the move. The key play was that 3rd and 11 pass to Ron Jesse as you look at Malavasi.
Benny, this is just bread and butter football, basic football. They're just taking them on.
So, Coach, you did agree with me on the last play that when you're in open field, it isn't a matter of 2 hands on the ball.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. No question about that.
Okay.
It is 2nd and 6 on the Vikings 6. 12 and a half minutes to go to the half. 3-0 Minnesota. Hayden has Willie Miller left and Waddy right. Bryant, the deep man out of the eye. And it'll be Colin Bryant, backed up by Matt Blair, who took the block off John Capoletti. Take a look at what happens to Matt Blair. Hit by Capoletti and still drags his man
That's the way
down.
you like to have your linebacker get across on the eye. Penetrate, take the block around. He stayed on his feet.
And he reached out
and made the play.
Great play.
Matt Blair, number 59.
Matt Blair, 5 years out of Iowa State. There you look at him. He is 6'5", 230, 27 years old. So it is 3rd and 8 on the 8. In motion goes Willie Miller. Rams losing motion on almost every play. Capoletti staying in the block. Hayden looks twice, throws on the run, and it's a touchdown. Going into a crowd. Little Willie Miller was down there. Tom Hannon trying to defend, but Willie Miller makes the reception, his 6th touchdown of the year, and the 51st pass. And the pom-poms that appeared in Los Angeles for the first time. I guess they got the idea from Houston.
Oh, you didn't say it like that before, man. How'd you say it?
They borrowed the idea from Houston.
Well, Hayden sprinted out, decided to step up, run forward, and found Willie Miller open. The Vikings had him contained very well.
And now Frank Corral, number 1 in the NFL with 118 points, trying to make the point after. He's 31 out of 33 this year, and it is good. And so the Rams spotted Minnesota a first quarter field goal, and they have now, on a long drive, taken over the lead. 11:30 to go to the half. 7-3 in favor of Los Angeles. Now, for 10 touchbacks on 74 kickoffs this year, 3rd best rate in the NFC behind Tampa Bay's Neil O'Donoghue and New York's Joe Danello. So the Rams have a much stronger kicking game than the Vikings. Deep man is Robert Miller. The ball goes over the head of Washington. I don't know if he touched it or not, but he's going to touch it down. So the Vikings will put it in play. 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line. The NBA on CBS. These games, the New York Knicks versus Kansas City, Chicago, Milwaukee, and Los Angeles versus Seattle. Upcoming Sunday, January the 14th.
Then the Rams' touchdown was a result of good field position. They started from the 41 and took it in, 59 yards.
We see the Vikings, and that's Doug Sutherland evidently getting that right ankle bandage. White goes wide right, Rashad left, Foreman the only running back, and here he goes into a crowd, and down he goes, right at the 20-yard line. Doug Foreman has had, among other problems besides injury, fumbleitis this year. He was 3rd with 8 fumbles. Bussey had 9 and Dorsett 12. He's had some big playoff games against the Rams.
Here comes Isaiah and Nolan Cromwell in.
2nd and 10, no gain for Foreman. The ball at the Viking 20. There you see Isaiah Robertson, very quick on pass defense. 2nd and 10. The crowd chanting defense. Tucker in the slot right. Bartman under pressure by Youngblood. Still chased by Youngblood. Throws on the run. Throws it low, but it is complete to Rashad. And he goes down at the 30-yard line for a first down. And is that ever magic by Fran Tarkenton?
Great effort by Tarkenton. The Rams have the rush on him. At his age, he scrambles out at anybody's age and throws accurately to get the first down.
I'd like to point out something, Vinny and Coach. When you play against Tarkenton and you're on the defense, he tires you out. In other words, when he scrambles like that, he really puts a lot of fatigue on the backs of the defensive line.
He also was throwing out Mike Fanning and Jack Dunbar and everybody up front.
I'm telling you.
First and 10 on the Vikings 31. Tarkenton rolling right and going to go over the middle to Bob Tucker. The tight end is to the 45, across midfield and into Ram territory. And I'll say one thing, without a doubt, this is the best Viking team we've seen all year.
They're ready to play. What they did is they lined up 34 in a wing position, Ricky Young. Now all Tarkenton does is dump about a 5-yard pass off to Tucker, and Tucker runs well with that football. We always were worried about his catching the ball and running it after that.
There was also a soft rush on that to illustrate that point. When those guys get tired, sometimes they got to take a little breather on the field. The fans can't see that. The fatigue plays a major factor in football.
First and 10 on the Ram 48-yard line. Tarkenton play action fake to Foreman. Going deep on the left side to Rashad, and he's out of the county. Right there with him is Rod Terry, number 49. Amon Rashad. Going deep, we should point out already that Tarkenton had 100 yards passing in the first quarter, but he also threw 2 interceptions. Rashad at the other end has caught 5 for 71 yards.
There's Isaiah and Cromwell back in again.
Another note, Chuck Foreman is the only Viking to rush the ball so far. Nolan Cromwell, 2 years out of Kansas. He was both a quarterback and free safety. Tarkenton trying to keep the Vikes on the move. Francis looking deep down the left side to Samuel White. In fact, it's Washington in there now. Washington defense by Perry.
Well, the Rams came with a big rush. They came with more rushes than the Vikings had blockers. Tarkenton just had to get rid of it or get sacked.
Francis Tarkenton came into this game having completed 60% of his passes and coming off a 300-yard game against Oakland. He has passed for over 300 yards in a game 13 times in his career. And against the Rams, lifetime, he is 10 and 8. So it's 3rd and 10 on the Ram 48-yard line. Tucker is wide left, right in a slot inside Rashad right. The backs are blocking, and Francis unloads. And it is out of bounds. No good. Intended for Sammy White. And by the way, White comes into this game with a streak. He has caught at least one pass in 44 straight, but in 2 playoff games against the Rams, they shut him out.
He was wide open there. Tarkenton just brought him out of bounds with the throw. As he stepped forward, he overthrew.
So Greg Coleman will be punting, averaging 39 yards. But as we said, inclined to get somewhat of a line drive up once in a while. Jackie Wallace deep on the Ram 13. Coleman with plenty of time arrows it down the field. Wallace backs to his own 6-yard line and running the wrong way to get some blocking. Now to the 10. And bunched in, and down he goes at about the 18-yard line. George Allen, is there a rule for a punt return man as to where's the bottom line when you finally allow a ball to bounce?
Well, we used to like to let it go inside the 10. Fake signal for a fair catch. But that was a line drive, so he did the right thing to return it.
Yes, he did.
This is Ben Scully along with George Allen and Jim Brown. 8 minutes and 36 seconds to the half. The Vikings playing surprisingly well, but the Rams are leading 7-3, and the Rams are in possession, 1st and 10 on their own 19-yard line. Out of the eye, Cappelletti, the up man, Bryant behind him. In motion is Willie Miller. Play action fake to Cullen Bryant, and Hayden drills it over the middle to Willie Miller, And Miller is at the 35, hurdles and goes down at the 38-yard line. Willie Miller, who scored the touchdown, is very much in business. Fellas, let's take a look at the Minnesota linebackers.
They're in, Vinny, what we call a 53 defense, an odd defense. It's good against the run. It limits your pass rush. Hayden did the smart thing against that defense. He went play action, had all day to throw, hit Willie Miller, who runs well with the ball after the catch.
Picked up 20 yards. First and 10 on the Ram 39-yard line. Both blacks flare out, and it's Capoletti with a screen set up for him by Hara.
Good hand.
And Capoletti will be dragged down just shy of the 45. Hara and Saul had pulled to try and set up a screen, and Jeff Seaman pulled him down.
You know, when you talk about backs, you're always talking about running and blocking, but hands are so important, especially in modern football. Now, John Capoletti has great hands. You see that catch. He really looked it in to watch the ball because he missed one before, and you know he doesn't miss those easy tosses. So he made up for it in this particular play.
Capoletti moves it to the Ram 45-yard line, where it is 2nd and 4. Waddy is right and Miller left. Hayden giving to Cullen Bryant. Bryant grabbed by Jeff Seaman, but he'll need help, and he gets it. Not quite enough from this angle for the first down, so Seaman grudgingly giving ground, and he held him back.
Yes. I used to talk about Cullen in the early part of the season. I talked about his weight. Right here, he's probably a little too slow on his move, but it's hard to tell in slow motion. Got his head down, and he's strong, so he's really going more to his power than his agility and quickness.
The original hole was closed, and he had to
That's a good point, sir.
There in that Rex Harrison hat is Jonathan Winters, a face certainly known across America. 3rd and 1 from the Ram 48. John Capoletti open on the left side, dragged down by Nate Allen at the 40-yard line with Carl Eller in there, but they exploded the left side. Capoletti on the move.
Now, if you watch Capoletti, he makes a quick move here and actually accelerates. He breaks the tackle because he drops his shoulder, tries to get a straight arm out there, but he accelerated through that hole.
Also some arm tackling there. You're not going to bring a back down like that with arm tackling.
I agree with that, Coach.
Well, Capoletti brings the ball across to the Vikings 38-yard line. Miller left, Waddy right. And a pass to Jesse on the right side, and Ron Jesse makes the reception, and riding him out of bounds is the rookie, John Turner.
Hayden's thrown every time on first down this drive and completed every one.
And you know something, Coach, when you talk about the Ram receivers, they're really great. When you watch Jesse there, he was fighting for that first down mark. In other words, he knew he wanted the first down.
Well,
he picked up 8. Players don't do that.
No, he's a good athlete. He can jump, and Rams have excellent receivers.
Yeah, they make the right moves, make the right kinds of attempts at the catches, you know.
They spot the ball just inside the 30. So it's 2nd down and a long one for Pat Hayden. And he's going up in the air again. And had a great juggle and drop by Terry Nelson. We were all set to say a great catch by the tight end, but he juggled and let it get away.
Benny, the Vikings are about 70-75% a zone team, and this is a pattern. It's a short corner that you throw to your tight end, to the Y-man, and it's open against the zone defense.
You know, Nelson really had that ball, and he took that one look. It was a great catch he had. He took that one look and dropped it.
Terry has had a bad ankle, also a groin injury. You can see 6 minutes to go to the half. The Rams scoring on a pass from Pat Hayden to Willie Miller, and Minnesota had a 42-yard field goal in the first quarter by Rick Danmeyer, and the Rams are leading 7-3. Pat Hayden at the controls for Los Angeles, trying to move them to next week's meeting with the Dallas Cowboys. The Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum bathed in sunshine, and a reminder at halftime, the NFL Today with Brent Jane and Herb. You'll stay with us.
And Jimmy DeGreek.
And Al Davis. 3rd and 1 on the 29 of Minnesota, and the Rams leading 7-3, trying to strike for more. Hayden giving it to Capoletti, who almost fumbled it.
Almost,
He juggled and held onto it. Fred McNeil hammering him.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. You know, Capoletti, now watch the takeoff, because if he didn't have good hands, that ball would have been fumbled.
Yeah, Hayden didn't put it in there.
And you see, when you talk about the 2 Ram backs and no fumbles basically out of them, you're talking about winning games because a lot of games are lost through fumbles.
It's a 4th down call now with less than a yard. They're going to measure to see. The crowd does not think that it was a 1st down, and they were hollering, "Go for it." But let's see whether they have to even gamble. Yes, they do by that much. That's Frank Parkin in the studies. And the crowd hollering, "Go." What would you do, Coach? Would you go or go for the field goal?
The crowd always tells you to go for it. If you listen to the crowd, you're going to be in trouble.
In other words, there's no such thing as a crowd being fired.
You got to do what you believe.
So would you go for it, Coach?
Yeah, don't duck the
Would you go for it?
I'd go for it in this situation.
So would I.
It's inches. It's inches.
4th and inches for Hayden. Will it be Bryant or Capoletti carrying? It will be Capoletti. And he's got it. Capoletti ran into James White, among others, the big guy out of Oklahoma State. But Capoletti picked up the 1st down.
Yes, he did run into White, but I'll tell you, it's the way he ran into White. I'm always talking about attitude. Good handoff by Hayden. Now watch this physical attitude. There's a man that's got his head is bounced back. He's pushing his legs, his feet, they're still pushing. He's backwards. That's physical attitude.
1st and 10 on the Viking 27. Willie Miller in motion to the right. Jesse's already over there. Hayden, under a little rush, takes one down, tries to throw it to Capoletti. To Cullen Bryant, and they will call it just an incomplete pass.
That could have been called, Vinny. That could have been called intentional grounding.
Well, I'll tell you.
He's rushed here to avoid his sack. Watch him now. Watch him just throw it backhanded here.
So to us, Coach, it is intentional grounding, but there was a man in the vicinity.
Well, there's a man downfield away. Yeah, but he had
Cullen Bryant
very little chance. So.
Bryant was about 5 minutes away by phone.
Yeah, that's why the officials didn't call it.
And by the way, the fellow who's
ball.
putting the pressure and who tackled Pat Hayden is 41-year-old Jim Marshall.
Had a birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
Great family man, too. Good guy.
2nd and 10 on the Viking 27. Hayden giving to Bryant, and he is dragged down. The first man to hit him was Doug Sutherland, and then Holloway made sure that he didn't go anywhere.
They ran that fast trap again that was successful before.
A look at tight end Kerry Nelson, 5 years out of Arkansas A&M. Watch him, number 83, trying to get off the line. And look at there, arms around him. That's Matt Blair taking him to the dance. Nelson saying, "Will you let me go?"
That's called use your hand.
And head. Hayden setting up and throwing down the middle short. Intended for Ron Jesse, who was trying to come back. He slipped, and Charles Goodrum and Chuck Foreman doing a little cheerleading on the sideline.
Well, they had a little better rush that time. Hayden setting up. Delivery sack. Better pressure on him that time.
The ball is on the Viking 26-yard line. Frank Corral will be kicking out of a hole by Nolan Cromwell. Remember, Corral, the NFL's #1 scorer with 118 points, and he has a point after the day. He's 29 out of 43. The spot from the 32, and it's a 42-yard field goal by Frank Corral.
What a year he's having.
Brilliant. You know, he's kicked 4 field goals in a game 3 times against Tampa Bay, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. What a rookie.
He should probably be player of the year on the Rams if you talk about consistency in games that
So it
were
is
won.
10-3 Los Angeles. 4:25 to the half. The happy smile of a Rams cheerleader. They're leading 10-3, and a reminder the cheerleader competition on the new look CBS Sports Spectacular, January the 6th. Robert Miller will go deep, and Frank Corral with a great leg. We told you he is 3rd in the league in cutback, kicking off.
I've seen him kick the ball right out of the end zone. His leg is that strong.
Robert Miller will be deep. On his right is Brent McClanahan. In fact, McClanahan goes to the left side this time. And Washington, Harry Washington, is on his right. Washington 80 and McClanahan 33.
Yes. Corral represented a change in your philosophy. In other words, you went with his talent even though he was young.
He was an exceptional rookie because he had such tremendous poise, Jim, and he's a good individual, good personal habits.
He's a rookie out of UCLA, out of Chihuahua, Mexico.
He's one of the reasons their kicking game has improved so much this year.
However, wouldn't you say that with all of his points, that's also an insight that the Ram offense has not been that strong?
Yes, exactly.
The kick to Robert Miller at the 4, to the 15, to the 20. Miller to the 25, and upended at the last minute by Larry Marshall, number 44, who brought him down. So the Vikings, with 4 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the half, down 10-3 to Los Angeles, but the Vikings are playing very well. They've been practicing since the day after Christmas in Tucson.
That kickoff return team in the games we have seen have not given the offense in Tarkman good field position. They very seldom get the ball out past the 25-yard line.
Which is where it is now, 1st and 10, and we'll see what Tarkman can do. Ricky Young is on a wing. Foreman will come out of the backfield, and Tarkman trying to set up a screen to Foreman, and he dropped it. And I think one reason he dropped it was number 79, Mike Fanning. Thomas is going to run it for the exercise.
He knew there was someone right there, and
it was wise to drop it, actually.
Yeah,
not lose the yard.
Yeah, they didn't fool the Rams at all in that screen. They were waiting for him.
Mike Fanning, who was giving him a bad time, as you look at Tarkman, is a first-round draft choice who weighs in at 260, so you better to give him a good look.
Betty, in a game like this, you use your nickel defense, 5 defensive backs, maybe 30 times, because you're playing pass defense the whole ball game. You're not worried about the run.
Well, that's an excellent point, Coach.
2nd and 10 on the 26th of the Vikings. Rashad goes wide left, White right, Tucker in a slot, and Young on a wing. And it's Foreman. And Foreman is stopped right about at the line of scrimmage. And the fellow who met him head on is Jim Youngblood. Youngblood tried to take the ball away from him. Jack Youngblood finally came in, but it was Jim, number 53. They're no relation. He's the one who made the tackle.
Jim Youngblood, 53, is having an outstanding year.
And is not going to the Pro Bowl.
No,
he does not understand that.
He's a studious player, works hard in practice, doesn't make mistakes, goes all out. Just a tremendous season.
Well, you can see about the Minnesota lack of a running game. They give it to somebody, and what a price he pays.
That brings me to this point. Then why wouldn't, as a coach, you use Isaiah Robinson much more this week?
Well, he's been in there these last 2 downs, Jim. He probably will be.
3rd and 10 on the Vikings 26. Foreman and Young stay in the backfield now as they go slot left. Tarkman with Jack Youngblood trying to get at him. A wobbler to Ricky Young, and he brings it down at the 45-yard line. Young, who caught 88 passes this year, was wide open at the 45. Take a look at Isaiah Robertson on this play.
Isaiah's dogging from an odd man line. He goes right up the gut. We happen to call that 54 Buckeye. And Tarkman splits the team to Ricky Young.
It's a good play by Chuck Foreman to pick up the dog. It was Foreman's block that made the pass succeed.
When you play, that's very difficult because you really got to know your assignments on dogs.
1st and 10 on the Vikings 46. Here goes Chuck Foreman trying to spin for a hole. That was a strange run because he turned his back on the line of scrimmage.
You're really looking at things today, Vinny. Now, I looked at it, I saw it, and I understood it. Now I'll explain it to you.
Now, why is he going to turn his back?
Chuck has been hurt. He's got a bad knee and a bad ankle. He's been taking a lot of blows. He's a little tentative. And that would normally be an offensive spin, but now it's a defensive move, so he won't get hurt.
They just took out Reynolds and Brzezinski, got Isaiah and Cromwell in.
Looking pass on the 48. 2nd and 8. Tarkington, Youngblood, and Cody Jones throws behind Foreman. And Foreman appeared to be slightly confused, as if I didn't expect that play my way. Meanwhile, Tarkington was passing for his life. Watch this beat by Cody Jones and Jack Youngblood among others.
Here's a good rush by Cody Jones and Jack Youngblood, and what we call a delivery sack.
Cody really put it to him.
Foreman's out now.
So it is a 3rd and 8 from the Vikings 48. Remember, they started on their own 25 on the return by Robert Miller. 2:12 to go to the half. 10-3 Los Angeles. Rashad with White in a slot. Tucker wide left. Both backs go out, and the pass is low, and Tucker was going the other way.
Well,
Defending was Nolan Cromwell,
Yeah.
but the Vikings look very shaky for the moment as we look at the Ram linebackers.
what happened on this, they dogged. They went a safety blitz from the nickel defense. Vikings can't pick it up. Tarkenton had to just get rid of it or get sacked. He did the wise thing. No choice there.
Well, as Vinny said, Coach, both those plays looked as if the Vikings were confused.
Yeah, one pass to Foreman and that one to Tucker, and neither pass was close. Jackie Wallace goes deep. Remember, Wallace was a second-round draft choice by Minnesota back in '73, and Greg Coleman will be getting a cutoff from the 33, angling for the sidelines. It hits at the 19, and Wallace picks it up to the 25, to the 30, and brought down. McNeil and Craig making the tackle at the 32. They call him a wideout, George. Let's take a look at it.
The Rams have two men, and you need two to jam them. That's Allen. The ball was a line drive, and Wallace did the good thing. He picked it up on a first bounce.
2
Got a
minutes
nice
to go to the
return.
half. 58 to the half. The Rams leading 10-3 on a pass to Willie Miller and a 43-yard field goal by Frank Corral. The Vikings scored in the first quarter a 42-yard field goal by Rick Danmeyer. And the Rams now have it 1st and 10 on their own 32. In motion, Willie Miller. Play action fake to Colin Bryant. Aiden down the middle, and it's intercepted by Bobby Bryant. And Bryant is going to be tackled by Ron Jesse. Lateral to Wally Hilgenberg. Hilgenberg with Willie Miller slinging him out of bounds at the 38, and there'll be flags as the fight starts. Willie Miller grabbing veteran Wally Hilgenberg, slinging him to the ground. Take another look at it. Play action fake to Colin Bryant. And Bobby Bryant, 10 years out of South Carolina, picks it off.
Vinny, that's that short corner pass to White we talked about, and the corner dropped off and picked it off. A nice play by Bryant. Now Minnesota has a chance to get back in here.
This is the linebackers with Seaman number 50, McNeil 54, and Blair 59 taking their drop. And going deep was the tight end Terry Nelson, and there you see Bryant cutting right in front of him.
He read that perfectly, and they were in a 34.
Watch Hilgenberg.
A penalty will be assessed against Willie Miller and the Rams on this play. Miller grabbing Big Hilgenberg, spinning him and throwing him down. Unnecessary roughness. Hilgenberg, 15 years playing as a pro, came up steaming. And Willie Miller, it was more or less of a mouse that roared on that play. And that's a big penalty against the Rams. 1st and 10. A pitch back to Chuck Foreman. And Foreman is going to pass. No good. Intended for Ahmad Rashad. And it was a schoolyard pass. A flutter.
Well, it didn't fool anybody.
No, there wasn't anybody open, and he showed pass all the way, so they didn't fool the Rams.
What do you mean showed pass all the way, Coach?
Well, he came out instead of showing run, Jim. What we like is to make the play look like a run, and then throw the pass.
Should have put the ball away, sprint it out.
So he came out
then
and let everybody know he was going to pass.
2nd and 10.
Good call, though, by the way.
27.
In that area of the field, Vinny, that's a good call because you sometimes force too quickly and the man's open.
Tarkenton trying to get on the scoreboard before the half, thanks to that interception by Bobby Bryant. Tarkenton is going to go over the middle to Ricky Young, and he made the reception at the 5 and rolls into the 2. A great catch by Ricky Young. What a catch.
Well, the Rams were in their nickel defense again, and here's Isaiah dogging. They're trying to put the pressure on him. And a guy like Tarkenton's going to pick the open man. He underthrew the ball, but a great catch by Ricky Young.
Ricky was so wide
Look
open.
at that. A better pass he scored.
1st and goal on the 2. The Vikings now call timeout. Tarkenton with Robert Miller and Chuck Foreman in the backfield wants to go over and talk to his coach, Bud Grant. Tarkenton has been doing what we figured he'd do, throw the ball. He is 12 for 23, 176 yards. He has thrown 2 interceptions to Bill Simpson. That's Bob Lee, number 19, and Tommy Kramer, number 9. Kramer, injured back in October in a collision with Jim Youngblood, has not played a single play since.
You know, one of the things I used to worry about Tarkenton down in here, Jim, is that he'd give you a play action pass, and in here he'll run it in now. He sees the goal line 2-3 yards away, he'll run it in. So you got the threat of Tarkenton running, stopping the run, and the play action pass.
He has an option of everything on you, Coach. You know what I mean?
By the way, as they huddle over there, a reminder, each team has 2 timeouts left in the half with 1 minute and 4 seconds left. So Minnesota using the first of 3, 2 left, and Francis having talked to Bud Grant. Grant Tarkenton, 18 years out of Georgia. Boy, that's a lot of playing.
Great year. And the first game he played was against the Chicago Bears in Minneapolis.
How'd he come out?
He had 5 touchdown passes.
The first one?
Yeah, that's right.
First and goal. The ball is just inside the 3-yard line, thanks to that great catch by Ricky Young. Craig in motion, Foreman trying to get outside. Dreyer can't do it. And Freddie Dreyer just reached out and upended him. Eckern came over to fell over. Eckern, number 55, but it was a marvelous play by Freddie Dreyer, number 89. Watch Dreyer.
You know, Freddie Dreyer is a guy that's supposed to be carefree and happy, but he's a studious football player. He knows his assignments. He knows the assignments of his teammates, and he's always ready to play.
I would say he should be a Rams captain. I mean, he's an intellectual guy. He's really dedicated.
Yeah.
Well, the Vikings take another timeout.
Smart on Tarkenton.
That means they have 1 timeout left and 38 seconds to the half.
You know, Vinny, what they're going to probably have to do, with their lack of a running game, they're probably going to have to throw it in, throw both down.
It is 2nd and goal. They spot the ball at the 5. Tarkenton appears somewhat annoyed and distressed, besides, over that last play.
Well, you shouldn't lose yardage down there, Vinny. They lost a yard, maybe a yard and a half.
You know, when Minnesota lost to the Rams in October, actually Minnesota led for 3 quarters in that game, and only after Chuck Foreman was kicked out of the game did the Rams pull it out. There's Rick Danmeyer, who might figure either for a field goal or the point after to tie it up. And as far as the running game is concerned for Minnesota, only Chuck Foreman has run 8 carries for only 13 yards.
You know what happens, Vinny, though? When you don't run the ball a lot, when you leave your running game and you go to your passing game, your running game is going to get worse because you do not practice it in practice.
The last time they met in October, Foreman carried 9 times, only 17 yards.
Rams were in their regular standard defense. They're
2nd goal.
43.
Ball on the 5. Young and Foreman in the backfield. Chuck Foreman hit by Cody Jones first and then stopped. And Tarkenton, looking at the clock, 30 seconds and counting, asking his players for a quick huddle. That was 2nd down. So he has 1 more shot and then perhaps has to settle for the field goal. 20 seconds. And he has a timeout left.
Better get going.
Rashad goes wide left, White wide right. Tucker, the tight end, on the right side. He's going to pass for it. Intended for Rashad. Touchdown. Is he ever something?
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Tarkenton perfectly sets it up and then hits Ahmad Rashad over the middle. He was wide open.
He's in control. Perfect pass.
For Rashad, his 9th touchdown reception of the year.
Well, actually, what you have, Tarkenton has an all-consuming pass attack. He uses everybody. All of his offensive men are good pass receivers.
Now the big point after by Rick Danmeyer. It is up, a flag on the play, and let's hold everything. Penalty markers down. It is 10-9 in favor of the Rams. However, the Vikings are acting as if the Rams were guilty of the infraction. The kick is a bullseye, and we'll get the official call.
On the defense, extra point is good. Be 5 yards on the kickoff.
So Red Cashin tells you that the Rams are caught with an extra U on the field. And it is 10-10, the Rams and the Vikings.
A lot of that's happened this year, Vinny.
That's Canadian football.
How can that happen, Coach? How can you do that?
Well, you send somebody in and the other guy doesn't come off, but that very seldom should happen. That shouldn't happen because suppose he missed that point now.
Right, sure.
That's the ball game. Every play is the ball game, and that's what you have to sell your players. They think, well, we got 30 more plays, 40 more plays. This time you break the huddle, it's a ball game.
We have 6 seconds to go to halftime as the Vikings tied up 10-10 will kick off. And don't forget, at halftime, the NFL Today with Brent, Jane, and Irv. And another underdog giving a favorite a bad time. Atlanta gave Dallas a bad time at home. Houston wrecked New England at home. And the Vikings are even with the Rams here in Ram territory.
I'd squib this, Jim, right now. I wouldn't give him a chance to bring it all the way back. I'd kick it all the way down, but squib it.
Rick Danmeyer, who has just tied up the game, is ready to kick off. Deep for the Rams, number 43, Jim Jodat. But we'll see if they even give him a chance to make the return. Remember, from the penalty, the ball is spotted at the 40-yard line, and it's a knuckleball down the middle, picked up by Dan Reisig. He laterals to Jim Jodat at the 30, and they'll take him down at the 34, and that's it. So Reisig lattering the kick back to Jodat to no avail. Time has run out, and the first half is history, and it's a dandy of a first half.
Look at the Vikings, how spry they are going in there now.
And that's why I like working with you, Coach, because you call the plays and then the other coach calls the plays.
Hang with it. Hang 10-10 at the half. The preceding announcement is brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with George Allen and Jim Brown. Gentlemen, opinions of the first half. George, any surprises?
Well, that last interception, Hayden went to the well once too often. He completed that short corner against his own, and Bryant, being the experienced corner, left his coverage and came off and picked it off. Now, I'm surprised they haven't tested number 27, Turner, more. Look for that the second half.
All right, Jim, what about you?
Well, I'm surprised because I think they're both on an equal keel. No one has established superiority. And if I was on the Rams, I would not want to be in this situation going into the second half because the Vikings is a veteran football team, and they can probably emotionally come up.
Oddly enough, the biggest play late in the second quarter, Willie Miller, who weighs 170 pounds, was guilty of roughing up Wally Hilgenberg, who weighs 230. So the Mouse gave away 60 pounds, and that extra penalty really set Tarkinen into business.
It really hurts him.
There he is, a 170-pounder. It was Willie Miller who grabbed Wally Hilgenberg, and can I say slammed him to the ground?
Oh, he slammed him. But Willie's had a great year, so we shouldn't really be too hard on him for that.
So he also scored on a touchdown pass from Pat Hayden. Ahmad Rashad scored on a pass from Tarkinen, a field goal by Corral, and a field goal by Danmeyer, and the situation is even. However, you must talk about this fellow right now, Pat Hayden. We mentioned at the start of the telecast he was rated number 3 in the NFL last year. He came into this game rated 15. How do you like his performance so far, George?
I like it fine, except for that last play, the interception. Any other than that, I think he's had an excellent performance.
Well, the Rams, who were at least a one-touchdown favorite, find themselves all tied up. Minnesota's Rick Danmeyer teeing the ball up at the 35-yard line. Standing deep for the Rams is Jim Jodat. To his left is Larry Marshall, and to his right is Rod Phillips. Danmeyer, who does not have the leg of a Frank Corral, so he rarely gets the ball to the end zone. As we mentioned, every one of his kickoffs has been returned this year. And this one will be fielded by Jodat at the 6. To the 15-yard line, to the 25. Across the 30 and swallowed up at about the 33-yard line, where the Rams will put it in play. A good return by Jodat, and that has hurt Minnesota all year. There's always a good return.
Yes. When a kickoff lands around the 5, 6, 7-yard line, you're going to get it out close to the 35 as a general rule, and that's where the Rams are.
They're going to spot the ball just shy of the 35, so it is 1st and 10 on the Ram 34. The start of the third quarter, and they're all even at 10 apiece. Jesse goes wide right, Miller left, Capoletti and Bryant the running back. It'll be Cullen Bryant following a Capoletti block, but there are too many purple shirts, and down he goes at the 37.
Now, this first series for the Rams on offense is very important because the Vikings just scored and tied the score. The Vikings have the momentum. The Rams have to take that football and move it down in the field position, get some points. I think it's a very vital series, Jim.
It's a good point, Coach. And also, the Vikings know that they're just going to have to throw the ball, so they have their offensive philosophy set.
2nd and 7 on the Ram 37-yard line. Jesse in a slot left. Second man, Cullen Bryant, grabbed and got away from Bryant, was finally pulled down by Wally Hilgenberg. Fred McNeil, number 54, tried to get him from behind, but he couldn't do it.
One of the things the Vikings are doing again, they're in the 34 defense, and if your linebackers don't stay at home on that, they leave their area and run out of there on a cutback play, you leave an opening, and that's what happened on that.
Jim, one thing, the Rams are following your game plan, because you were saying if Dennis Harrah comes off with a bad right hand, Harrah's had a neck injury. He's actually had a stretched neck, the muscle on the right side of his neck. They built a special collar because Harrah does his blocking with that right shoulder and neck. And they tried to keep it so that his head would be immobile, but he has hurt himself anyway. I was going to say that you mentioned they should give the ball to Bryant a lot, and he's now carried 13 times.
Yes.
3rd and 1 on the 43. Whoops, offside on the left side, and it was Charlie Young, the tight end. However, Jim Marshall, who's playing a great game at 41, brings Hayden down.
Jim showed his quickness right there, and Pat fumbled the ball. He had 2 mistakes on it. The left end was offside and fumble on the exchange.
When you talk about a veteran team, I mentioned that at the top of the show, Denny.
Red Cashin ready to make the call, Jim, and then we'll pick up.
Illegal motion, number 86. Penalty is declined. 4th down.
Well, Jim Marshall represents that kind of a spirit because at 41 years old, he can always get himself up for a particular ball game.
And, Jim, that's one of the things I appreciate about the old pros, is that they're ready to play every Sunday. They really are.
I agree with you, Coach, but I know you know more about that than us.
That was a big play for the Vikings right there.
Glenn Walker punting from his own 25-yard line. Deep is Kevin Miller standing on his 25. A high punt. Miller has to retreat to his own 15. And he's going to go out of bounds. McLean and Phillips riding him out. And boy, there's a lot of enthusiasm on the sideline.
4.2 hang time on that. Excellent hang time.
A reminder, the new look on the CBS Sports Spectacular will feature the East-West Prime game, the fight between Duran and Brooks. We'll also have the Hollywood Stunt Classic, the competition, and the NFL Cheerleader Classic. It's all coming up Saturday, January 6th on the new look, the CBS Sports Spectacular. Well, let's see about the Vikings now. 1st and 10 on their own 16-yard line. Shifting with only Foreman behind Tarkenton. White is right, Rashad left, and Foreman grabbed by Cody Jones, who fought off Ron Yeri. He pushed Yeri aside as if he wasn't there.
Well, he takes an inside charge. You can't block him on that. Block him right into the play.
Well, Coach, I'd like to say this. They talk about Foreman not having a good year. This play is a perfect example of not having a good year. There's not a back that's ever lived that could do anything about that. I mean,
you can't run without blocking. That's what you're
saying. One step and you get hit.
Now the Rams are in the nickel again.
Chuck Foreman, the only man to run the ball for Minnesota. As it's 2nd and 12, and Tarkenton up in the air again, and he finds Ricky Young. He's boxed in by Isaiah Robertson and Perry, and Isaiah Robertson knocked him down, and then Jim Youngblood came over.
This time with the nickel, the Rams did not dog. They faked the dog. The Isaiah step up and fake the dog. Now, this is his coverage right here. He has number 34, Ricky Young, man for man, all over. Isaiah's got good position on him. Now he gets help.
But some people think that he gave him too much room, but actually that was great position.
Perfect position. Perfect.
3rd down and a long 10. Isaiah Robertson making a big play, and now Tarkenton needs one to keep it going. Rashad and White go to the right side. Tarkenton with Foreman out of the backfield is throwing for Foreman. Juggled and can't hold it as he is hit by Simpson after Jim Youngblood was trying to go one-on-one with him. The free safety came over to help out.
Well, the Rams dog now. Dogged off of the nickel. Tarkenton hits the right man. Foreman on a seam pattern. Being covered by Youngblood, man for man.
And I'd like to make a point here. When you wonder fans about a free safety and what he does, this is an example of it.
He helps out.
Oh, yes.
So it is 4th on 11. Greg Coleman, you see his numbers. He's had to kick 3 times. Deep is Jackie Wallace at the Ram 45. Rams can't get in. And Coleman boots it out of there. Wallace backing up to his own 35. To the 40. With a good still going, and he's inside the 45 before Matt Blair, among others, finally brings him down.
These two punts are an example of what field position can do for you. Rams have great field position now.
A 49-yard punt, a 21-yard return. The Rams set up shop, 1st and 10 on the Vikings 44. Waddy is left. Dwight Scales in the game is right. Play action taken and end around to Waddy. And Waddy is to the 40 and dragged down at the 35-yard line. He is 1 yard shy of a first down.
That fooled the Vikings. It was a good call right in there. The Rams have excellent field position. They have to take it in and score here. Turn the game around.
Coach, if we watch the blocking out here, the linemen aren't really moving out and throwing. If they had thrown, Waddy could have used a quick cut and accelerated. But by them not moving fast, he couldn't do that.
2nd and 1 as the Rams come up with that end around and spot the ball just shy at the 35. Second man, Colin Bryant, and he has the first down as he goes across the 30-yard line to the 29. Among others, Bobby Bryant trying to bring him down. But Bryant's only 170, and Bryant is 235.
Maybe 240.
Yeah, well, this is just power football, straight ahead.
One other point. The Rams have scored more fourth-quarter points than any other team in the conference. Only Buffalo led the league with 9 points more in the fourth, so they wear you down. 1st and 10 on the Viking 30-yard line. Here comes Colin Bryant, carrying people just about to the 25.
Well, the Vikings on that last play were in what we call a 53 defense. Linebackers are inside, man over the center, and the Rams run that fast trap again. So they just end block it, man-for-man blocking. They don't pull anyone.
So it's 2nd and 5 on the Viking 25. Hara is back in. Remember, he left with a bad neck, but he's back in there again. A good pulling guard to complement Tom Mack. Hayden looking to the right side, throwing to Jesse. He's got it for a first down and fights for an extra yard. John Turner is the man that you said, George, they figured to exploit in the second half.
That's the first time they've thrown over there, and he's playing loose, playing deep. He picked up a
Linebackers are blitzing on that, Coach.
First down.
Hayden was very good on that because he got the ball away quickly, because on the blitz, you have to release the ball quick.
So the Rams pushing the Vikings around, and you can see the mood reflected on the Viking faces as the Rams have it 1st and 10 on the Minnesota 18. They started on the Viking 44. Slot left, Jesse is inside Miller. Play action fake to Bryant. Pressure by Mulaney. Complete to the tight end, Terry Nelson. And Bryant has to knock him down at the 5-yard line. The big tight end, Terry Nelson, making the reception.
Now, real good call. Play action, pass, good fake. And Terry Nelson comes across underneath shallow. And takes the spot where 54 dogs.
Now watch the one-on-one right there, Coach. Terry Nelson went to the physical.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have tried a little finesse at that point.
Nelson is 230, Bryant 170.
Bryant went under him, though, Vinny. He went under him.
1st and goal at the 5. Hayden to Bryant, and they stack him up at the 3-yard line. Turner on top, Seaman and Sutherland at the bottom.
That's the reason that play was also so good, Vinny, is that McNeil, 54 dog, and Nelson occupied the area where he would normally be, you see.
So it is 2nd and goal, and now the Vikings sending in some fresh blood as the Rams go to 3 tight ends. Hilgenberg now comes in, and here come the Rams. 2nd and goal. They put Phillips as a tight end on the left side. Colin Bryant on a play-action fake, and the pass broken up by Mark Mulaney. Big 77, and we mentioned him earlier. He is 6'6", and this time he got a meat hook on the leather and knocked it down.
That's good in here. Watch him get his hands up.
Now,
Left hand.
You mentioned that casually. But, Coach, you really teach that.
Oh, yeah, we work on that, Jim. It's especially if you're against a quarterback that is not exceptionally tall. It's very
Capiletti
good.
was wide open, so he stopped the touchdown.
Then a touchdown if he catches the ball. Mulaney saved the touchdown.
So the details of coaching means an awful lot.
On the sideline, Ricky Young and Ray Malavasi, the opposite side of the coin, in a 10-10 tie, 7:27 in the third. Third and goal for the Rams on the Viking 3, 7:27 left in the third quarter, and they're all tied up 10-10. The Rams break. Nelson a tight end on the right side, Charlie Young and Rod Phillips on the left, and it's Bryant and Capiletti back at Hayden. Hayden to Bryant with Capiletti and Howell out in front of him. He cuts in for 6.
Got to be 6.
For Cullen Bryant to bust it over from the 3, his 8th touchdown of the year.
Now he had good blocking. Nobody penetrated. Nobody gets across. Watch, Coach. Everything is sealed off. It's just a matter of running it over.
When that started, we knew it had to be 6. Perfect execution.
I guess when they call that timeout preceding this play, they wanted to make sure that this play would really work.
Good point, because they do have a short list of plays that they use when they're in that area.
That's a good call against that particular defense.
Well, Frank Corral was 31 out of 33 during the regular season. He has a point and a field goal today, and now he gets another point. So with 7 minutes and 22 seconds left to go in the third quarter, we still have a ball game, but the Rams doing what they figured to do, leading 17-10. Well, Grant, one of only 12 coaches to ever win 100 games, looking on. The Vikings trying to bounce back. It'll be McClanahan on the 9 to the 20, 25, still on his feet down at the 27-yard line. Carl Eckern, number 55, last man, and he was the one who drilled him.
You know that last...
Let's take a look at Carl Eckern and watch him thread his way down and make his shot.
Carl's going to be, number 55 is going to be a good middle linebacker. He's got the size, the speed, and the toughness.
3 years out of San Jose State, 6'3", 220. We'll hear more about him, I'm sure. First and 10 on the Viking 27. Tucker, Rashad, and White all go to the right side. Young is an end on the left side. Tarkenton to Foreman, threw it behind him.
Well, the reason that happened, he wanted to throw it downfield. They flooded the strong side with 3 men. There's Tarkenton taking the snap, fingers on the laces. Everybody was covered. He dumped it off to Foreman, threw it behind him.
The last few passes, the one early and late in the second quarter to Foreman, another one to White. It suddenly seems like the Rams must be doing a better job in rushing Tarkenton, and the passes are not close to the receiver.
Excellent point, they are doing a better job, really.
Second and 10 on the Viking 27. White and Rashad go left. Young and Tucker go right. Foreman is behind Tarkenton. And it's Foreman. And Jim Youngblood brings him down at the 30-yard line. And Foreman continues to be the only ball carrier for Minnesota.
You realize what a chore that is for Tarkenton. He has to throw the football. He doesn't want to throw the football 40, 45 times a ball game. But if he can't run it, he's got to throw it.
We're looking at here, Coach, at Jim Youngblood. Jim Youngblood should be in the Pro Bowl game this year because he probably had a better year than any other lineman on the Rams team.
Here's a big play now. 3rd and 7 from the 30. Rashad is left, White and Tucker right. Tucker is looking left. Intended for Rashad, and he threw it to San Francisco.
Intended for San Francisco,
I think so.
Well, they had him covered front and back.
Definitely covered.
He did the right thing. If he tried to gun it in there, it could have been intercepted.
So, Tarkenton is thoroughly frustrated. Greg Coleman will come in to punt, and unless he really gets off a dandy, the Rams are going to be in fine field position yet again.
And here's where your punter has to come up with a big play now. Walker has out-punted him in the last series.
Remember, his longest punt was 49, but it was returned 21 yards, which is one of his problems. Coleman gets it away, and it's low. Wallace will have to play it on a bounce at the 31. There's Studwell, who can't get him. He's still going, and they finally bring him down across the 40. Scott Studwell had a shot at him, but Wallace put a pretty good move on Studwell, and McNeil is somewhat frustrated. He missed him on the 25. The Rams 17, Minnesota 10, 6:11 left in the third quarter. On the return, Wallace eluding the grasp of Scott Studwell. That's Jodat in the lower left-hand corner. Studwell spins away. He's frustrated, but there'll be more Vikings frustrated. Robert Miller and now Fred McNeil both come up empty. Wallace is still going with Keller in pursuit. Toes up along the sideline, and finally Studwell and Huff come back to knock him out of bounds. First and 10 on the Vikings 40-yard line. Second man, play action fake, end around to Terry Nelson, the tight end. He got away from McNeil, and he's finally tackled by Wise. So Fred McNeil, as they get a little angry down on the sideline, Terry Nelson, the tight end, taking umbrage over somebody's late lick.
Also, Vinny, we had a good block by McLean on that punt, number 50. We didn't mention that. He really got a good block on 54.
Terry Nelson steaming on that abortive end around.
Well, I tell you, he made a great play because he should have lost about 15 yards.
Let's see what happens. Mullaney falling over the top of Nelson. That's what did it, and Nelson wants a little bit of Mark Mullaney. Well, Nelson is 230. Mullaney is 242. Second and 8, and Hayden setting up to go deep down the middle, right in the middle. A tremendous catch. You talk about dangerous coming across the middle. Ron Jesse almost knocked his numbers off, and he still held on to it.
Jesse will come over the middle. Hayden had great protection here, follows him all the way, drills it in there. Watch him get whacked here.
You know something, Coach, that's uncharacteristic of the Rams? After this, 3 linemen ran up and congratulated him.
I get a feeling here, too, that if the Rams can move it in, this game will end.
The momentum has changed now.
First and 10 on the Vikings 42. Second man, Capoletti. Good move. Chased by Seaman and upended last minute by Bobby Bryant, but it appears as if he fell forward and got the first down. John Capoletti.
Capoletti, he is not injured now. He's feeling well. You can tell it by watching him.
They're going to measure.
Quick move. Capoletti doesn't have the great speed you want, but he has
Watch the ball, Coach.
quickness. And he picks the hole real well.
And he carried that ball in the palm of his hand like he was Earl Campbell.
Yeah.
He went beyond John Capoletti.
Chuck Foreman looking on as he sees other people run. It is second and 1 on the Viking 33. Hayden to Bryant. First down inside the 30, goes to the 26-yard line, and they are starting to bust Minnesota's line apart now.
Hey, Coach, you know you talk about holes and you talk about certain kinds of back. Now, this is a big hole. Bryant is having a great day. His attitude is beautiful. It's a good move there. But when you carry the ball in 2 hands and your body lean, you will sometimes trip when there's a big hole because you're looking for resistance.
Bryant has carried 18 times for 76 yards. First and 10 on the Vikings 27. Jesse is right, Miller left, and Hayden looking for Jesse. He's got him at the 20. He eludes Painter, and he's going in for the score. So they picked on the rookie who replaced Nate Wright, and they burned him on the right side to Ron Jesse. For Jesse, his 5th touchdown catch of the year.
They dogged on that, Vinny. I was wondering when they were going to throw over there. 27 has been playing kind of loose, a little bit deep. Missed his tackle. Easy touchdown.
I'll tell you something, Vinny and Coach. They gave the Rams the pom-poms. The Rams fans are acting differently today. And believe me, the emotions in the Rams team is very different today.
The Rams started that drive from the 40. Great field position. They took it in.
And the other drive, they started on the Viking 44. So they're 2 for 2 in the second half in capitalizing. Corral is not about to miss one. And now the Rams have all the momentum, and they have most of the points. You can see the Ramettes and this crowd, they are not accustomed to seeing the Rams on top of a lead against Minnesota. And, of course, a team that is working on one spark plug as far as a running attack. The only man to run is Foreman. Tarkenton now is faced with an almost impossible chance. However, we'll look at that pass to Jesse once again. 27 yards for the touchdown.
He gave him a little too much room. Jesse's a good runner.
Well, George, you said it at halftime. You were surprised the Rams had not picked on rookie John Turner. And they have cashed it in. Turner is a rookie out of Miami, and there's the offensive line. John Williams, 75, Doug France, 77, Dennis Harris, 60, and Tom Mack, 65.
And that's
getting a well-deserved rest.
And that's the key to the Rams' performance today, the offensive line.
Frank Corral with that strong leg, ready to kick it off. A reminder, next Sunday, the NFC Championship game, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Right now, it looks like it's Dallas and the Rams here. At the 25 is Miller to the 35, and Phillips brings him down at the Viking 35. They'll put it in play, 1st and 10.
Then that last statement, I don't know now. 14 points? They always got over a quarter left.
Oh, I agree. But I just said it looks like.
Okay, then.
Well, this drive is very important for the Vikings, for Tarkington to mount something here, even if you just get a field goal.
There's the coaches talking to John Turner, trying to hold his spirits above water. And now Tarkington trying to salvage something for the Vikes. They double-team Youngblood. He keeps coming, and Tarkington throws it away. So let's take a look at the way they picked up on Jack Youngblood to buy some time for Tarkington. Youngblood, number 85. That's Ron Yeri keeping him to the outside. And now he is picked up by Ricky Young. So both Young and Yeri try to box in Youngblood, and he fought them both off.
Yeah, Ricky Young has a chance to really chop him down, but he missed him. Youngblood's a good athlete. He worked out and forced Tarkington to dump this ball off.
Actually, Ricky Young could have hurt him because that's the kind of play that you can hurt a guy's knee on.
It's designed for that, to chop the defensive end down by the offensive back.
Harrah, Mack, and Williams, the offense studying on the sidelines. It's 2nd and 10 for Tarkington. And he fumbled. It's going to be recovered, however, by Frank Myers, the rookie tackle on the left side, number 74. He saved Tarkington's bacon on that play. Watch it again. Yeri once more in your picture, fighting Youngblood. He faked once, and then he lost the ball, and it looked like the Rams would get it. Cody Jones is in there, so is Fanning and Dreyer, but the ball squirted behind, and it was Frank Myers who picked it up, number 74.
With practically no running game, Tarkington has a big job cut out for him, Vinny. Now he's 3rd and 21. The Rams are in their nickel.
I'm guessed down in Dallas for the Cotton Bowl, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish team. They'll be in the Cotton Bowl against Houston, and Mike Fanning is from Notre Dame.
Fanning has good moves. He's going to be a fine football player. All he has to do is play. He's got real good pass moves.
Frank Myers, who fell on the ball, a rookie out of Texas A&M, made the save, number 74. And a Ram slowly getting up, and it's Cody Jones, number 76. But you can see some laughter, so evidently he's okay. The crowd giving Cody Jones 5 years out of San Jose State. Big guy playing well.
Fanning's in for Cody Jones. This next play, watch the defensive line tee off and rush the quarterback.
So it is 3rd down and 21. The ball on the Viking 23-yard line. Tarkington a hard press, standing on a rush across the middle to Young, or make it Foreman, and he's going to be buried at the 28-yard line. And the Rams are playing now as if they have 12 men on the field.
I'll tell you, it's dangerous out there right now, Vinny, with that Ram defense feeling the way they feel.
There's something.
Well, the Vikings need a big play to get back in this ball game. Rams have all the momentum now, taking over completely the second half. Tarkington, by the way, ran a good play, a quick screen to Foreman against that rush.
It was 10-10 at halftime, but this third quarter with 2 minutes and 3 seconds left has been all Los Angeles. Billy Waddy is deep at the 32 for Los Angeles. Waddy comes to the 35 to make the reception. Boxed in, but keeps going, and Fred McNeil almost took his head off, and they don't like that at all. Waddy is steaming. You'll see Fred McNeil, number 54, almost clothesline him in just a second. Coming up. There's McNeil, 54. Boy, he almost turned his head around. And somehow Waddy refused to go down, so Jim Huff backup man for setter Singlehall finally spun him out of bounds.
Whitey almost fumbled that football.
I'm surprised he almost fumbled his head.
3-4 hang time.
Next Sunday, January 7, 4:30, it figures to be here. Dallas and the Rams, unless Minnesota can shake itself. Hayden pitching to Bryant. McNeil fights off Capoletti's block, and he gets around McNeil only to run out of bounds.
Did you see the footwork? Cullen Bryant, 240 on the sideline. Twinkle toes. That was a good move. He didn't go out of bounds.
Yeah, indeed.
And it was a fine play by McNeil. McNeil got across, used his hands, and strung it out. Didn't trade 1 for 1.
It could have been a loss, except Bryant, really turned it on.
A report from the Ram bench as we look at Bud Grant. Jones took a shot to the head, but he is okay and can return. 2nd and 8 from the Ram 48, and they're leading by 14 points, 24-10. Cullen Bryant. Bryant is to the 45 and goes to the Viking 44. And remember that little note we gave you earlier. The Rams have scored more fourth-quarter points than any other conference team, and only Buffalo scored more points in the entire league. And they are wearing the Vikings down with 1:23 left in the 3rd quarter.
Well, they're repeating the plays that are successful, and that's a sign of good generalship.
Bryant has carried 20 times for 85 yards. It's 3rd and 1. 3 tight ends on the Viking 45 as Phillips comes in. You have Nelson and Young at either side. Bryant bumps into Capoletti and fights his way and might have made the first down anyway. Take a look at Charlie Young, fellas.
This is the guy who's came in when Nelson was hurt. He's a good blocker. He throws a good block here. He gets real good reception. And he has a great attitude because Nelson is back now.
Yes.
And he's still playing hard.
Yes, Charlie Young is an all-pro, and he's maintained a good attitude. And when called upon, he was always ready.
First down. So Bryant got the block by Charlie Young on linebacker Fred McNeil, and then had to still give it second effort, and that's why they got their first down, barely.
Coach, that's very hard to do, to keep a guy who's an all-pro ready to play when someone else is in front of him.
Boy, takes a lot of self-discipline.
You really got to be a good coach to get it, too.
1st and 10 on the Viking 43. Hayden now leading by 14 and hungry for some more. Hayden looking right, fakes once, and now he's going to go deep. No good. The pass intended for Jesse. Hannon and Turner were there.
Yeah.
And that time, Turner, the rookie, got a little help because Hannon came over to bail him out.
They tried to run an out and up on Turner, number 27, but he didn't go for the first move. He just laid off and played it loose and had inside position all the way up the field.
Coach, when you look at Pat Hayden's face, you can almost read what he's thinking.
Yeah, he's licking his chops.
Yes, he is.
Parkinen, after 18 years and after 4 bitter victories over the Rams, is a bitter man over there right now, muttering to himself. 2nd and 10 with 30 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Capoletti and Bryant release. Hayden down the right side to Waddy. Turner brings him down, but he hit him just about at the first down mark. And depending upon where they spot it, I think the Rams have picked up another first down.
Well, Hayden has the protection. You see that?
It is. Turner taking out a little frustration making the hit. But that's the end. Well, hold everything. We still have 10 seconds. We're coming down to the end of the 3rd quarter. The Rams are driving, leading 24-10. John Turner, a beleaguered rookie, and his teammates try to cheer him up. They figured they were going to work on him. Nate Wright broke his arm in Oakland, and they had to drop a kid in there in a playoff game, and they picked him.
I've always liked to help when you put in a rookie defensive back, Jim and Vinny. I always like to help rotate one way or the other, send a linebacker out there, give him a little help so you don't break his confidence.
Nate Allen has 8 years' experience, and the gun goes off, ending the 3rd quarter. With the score, the Rams 24 and the Minnesota Vikings 10. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Nice guys finished last, you say? Not the one you'll meet on 60 Minutes. This guy got to the top, still believing it's not whether you win or lose, but how you play the game. Tonight on CBS.
Los Angeles Rams leading Minnesota. Minnesota 24-10 as we start the fourth quarter. One number of all is very prominent. We'll tell you that in a moment as Hayden sets up shop to go deep. In the end zone to Waddy, no good. Nate Allen down there with him. Here's the number, and it's a big difference, I guess, between the two teams. In total offense, yards rushing for the Rams, and of course that sets up your passing. The Rams 133 yards rushing, and for Minnesota, a disappointing 20 yards, all picked up by Chuck Foreman, who has had to carry 11 times for the 20, and you just can't do it on one wing alone.
Not against a good football team. The Rams did something smart. They went right to work on Allen. This was his first play in there. They went deep, tried to hit him with a bomb.
So it is 2nd and 10. The ball on the Viking 33-yard line. Miller goes wide left and Waddy is right. Capoletti and Bryant in the backfield. Cullen Bryant hit by Holloway and dropped immediately. Randy Holloway is a rookie out of Pittsburgh. We mentioned it at the start of the show as you look at Randy, 6'5", 245. 32 members of the Vikings 77 Super Bowl team are gone. That's one reason why they're 8-7-1.
You know, Coach, when you get in a situation like this, I don't like to throw bombs because I like to deal with it physically. Keep it on the ground a while when you're ahead, establish their physical superiority.
Tarkenton's going in the air despite Jim Scott down the middle, and he's got Jesse again in a crowd. And Jesse is brought down inside the 15-yard line by Tom Hannon. And Jesse making great receptions, and for him, he has gained now in 6 catches over 90 yards.
Vinny, that offensive line of the Rams is giving him the time to throw, to read the defense. He's got all day to throw. Great pass protection from the Rams' offensive line.
You saw Jesse jump in the air. He was an NCAA high jump champ, 6'8", and he went up that time. 1st and 10 from the 13. Second man buried at about the 10 is Cullen Bryant, and Bryant has been a workhorse. So the Rams leading 24-10 with 13:28 left in the game, and they are hoping to bury a litany of frustration. 4 times the Vikings knocked them off on what they thought was the way to a Super Bowl. In 1975, the Dallas Cowboys routed them here. And now, in their 6th try, it would appear as if they will go into the championship game against Dallas here. But Tarkenton and company might still be heard from. Hayden looking to Jesse, who can't make the reception that time. Bud Grant wanted to win his 10th playoff game to join Landry and Shula in that area.
I imagine he's thinking we need a big play. We need an interception. We need a fumble. We need something to turn the tide here.
Well, he has seen some miracle finishes, including that last-second pullout against the Eagles as Ron Jesse takes a breather.
Now, here's 3rd and 8 again, Vinny.
The ball is on the Viking 11-yard line. Miller goes wide left. Waddy is right. Nelson, the tight end, on the left side. Hayden under a rush by Holloway, and Sutherland throws it away.
They ran a stunt, flushed Hayden out of the pocket. Hayden's complained that one of his receivers was jammed downfield.
Willie Miller.
Illegally.
Hayden felt that Matt Blair had jammed Willie Miller. However, the officials did not agree. So a 4th and 8. Frank Corral, who is the #1 scorer, he's had a couple of points and a field goal. Corral kicked 29 field goals during the regular season. That was the most. The spot by Nolan Cromwell at the 18. So the 28-yard field goal attempt is good. And Frank Corral and the Rams are sitting on top of a 27-10 lead with 12:56 left to go in the game.
Good snap by Danny Reisig and a good hold by Cromwell.
Frank Corral, freshman, kicking a 28-yard field goal to make it 27-10 Los Angeles. Corral kicking over to the right side, and McClanahan and Miller watch it go out of bounds, so of course Corral will have to tee it up again. We have 12:52 left in the game, 27-10 Rams. Coach?
That may look like a harmless kick. Just all he's got to do is kick over. that's the type of thing that you're looking for to give your team a lift. Now you should get a chance to return that ball and get better field position. Maybe go all the way. That's the way you have to think when you're behind like that.
Because they move it 5 yards back, right, Coach?
They're kicking from the 30 instead of the 35 now.
Robert Miller is the middle man. In the lower right-hand corner of your screen is Brent McClanahan. And in the upper left-hand corner of your screen is Harry Washington, the rookie out of Colorado State. But it's Robert Miller who's the middleman.
Here's where, from the Vikings, you need leadership within. Leadership within the ball club. Come on, let's go. There's still plenty of time. That's
Minnesota, a great organization down through the years with a marvelous coach. And, of course, one of the more popular owners.
That's winner.
Yep.
Fine owner.
All right, on the ground to Robert Miller at the 15, to the 25, 30, 35, 40, 42-yard line. Finally bumped down by Frank Corral as well as Ron Smith. But it was Corral, the kicker, who brought him down.
And now, Vinny, they have the best field position they've had all game on their kickoff return team.
As you look at the Ram offensive line, that's Tom Mack, who calls himself a dinosaur because he has played over 13 years. But if he's a dinosaur, where does that put Jim Marshall? First and 10 on the 41. Tarkinen on a draw, but there's nowhere to go. So Foreman chooses to go the other way and gets to the 45. Boy, that must be tough, Jim, on a draw up the middle, and there's no hole.
Yes, it is. If Foreman was totally healthy, he could have really done something with that. But with a bad knee, a nagging injury, you just can't be the same.
Question, did you ever play a game where you were the only back to carry the ball?
No.
That's what Foreman is faced with today.
Cleveland had too balanced an offense.
Yeah, you have to have balance.
Reggie Doss, number 71, just came in, a rookie.
Foreman has carried 12 times for 23 yards. He's the only running back for the Vikings. Ball on the 45-yard line, and Foreman will carry it again, and this time he sees a little daylight, and at the last minute, Freddie Dreyer tripped him up.
Now, this is good work on Tarkenton's part. The Rams are playing pass rush, pass defense, and he's running the football.
Move the ball to the Ram 47-yard line, where it's first and 10. Time a factor. 11:36 left in the game. 27-10 Rams. Sammy White wide right. Rashad goes left. Ricky Young and Chuck Foreman in the backfield. Foreman stays in. Young goes out. The pass bobbled but held on to by Tucker, the tight end. Jim Youngblood brought him down. By the way, on that previous first down,
Holding penalty, Vinny.
holding against the Vikings. We're just going to say on that previous first down by Foreman, it was the Vikings' first down in the second half.
And the score shows it.
Cashin, our referee, will march it off. So Jaquan Francis seemed to have a head of steam. 2 back-to-back first downs, holding calls.
Holding, number 73 on the offense.
And that's Ron Gary.
Gary Young.
Gary has played 11 years